Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of the Chazon Ish, Emunah and Bitachon, and he's speaking about the real Bitachon that a person has, not counterfeit, not phony, not fake, but rather someone that truly possesses Bitachon inside of them. And he says today something that's so beautiful, and we could really measure and gauge our levels of Bitachon based on these words. And therefore, Midas ha-bitachon kinyan alev. You should know that the trait of bitachon is something that is really acquired in the leiv, in the heart. It's not an external action, as we're going to see in the Chazon Ish. It's something that's very deeply embedded inside the leiv. Umiteva b'teach be'emes, and the nature of someone that really and truly trusts in Hashem. B'atznei aleches, he walks modestly. You will not hear him proclaiming from his mouth that he is someone that possesses bitachon. He's not going to walk around and say, I trust in Hashem, I believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everything Hashem does is good. You won't hear him say such things. And even in his heart, he moans, Al chesrain bitchoinoi, on the lacking of his bitachon, umiut shleimus bezeh, and his lack of perfection in this trait of bitachon. V'rak lemaisa tilavi imay bitachon. It's only in practice are you going to see his bitachon, v'atzma bo yizbarach, and the way that he relies upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu will it manifest itself. Meaning, the person is an onav, he's humble. He's working on his bitachon, but he knows he has so much farther to go. He has so much more to reach. How much more he can rely upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu and trust in Hashem for everything that he has in his life. So is he going to go around town telling everybody what a great Baal Bitachon he is? No, he's not. Why? Because it's between him and the Rabbi Shalom. This is similar. And therefore, says the Chazon Ish, the way that you will know that this person has bitachon is if you see him act in a way of someone that trusts in Hashem and relies in Hashem. He doesn't have to talk about it. He doesn't have to brag about it. He doesn't have to give drashas to tell everybody what a tremendous Baal Bitachon he is because he trusted in this and punkt, it happened exactly the way that Hashem wanted it to. It's because he acts in Bitachon type of ways. That's how we know. This is very similar to the Maisa that is said over with the altar of Kelm, that he would sign all of his letters Baal Bitachon. He would sign his letters, who he was corresponding with people. He's a Baal Bitachon, a master of Bitachon. It was one of the traits that he worked on very, very deeply and hard in his life. And he had a great confidence in his levels of Bitachon. He used to go into the fields, into a little shack every so often, and he would spend sometimes days upon days there, communing with Hashem, learning Musar, perfecting himself, learning Torah, with his stavkus, with tremendous connection to the Rabbi Shalom. It was in the days before electricity, and so the only way that you could see was with a candle. And one night he was learning very hard and diligently, and the candle that he had burned out. He's in the middle of the woods, in a small little shack, in the middle of nowhere, and he has no electricity, and he has no more candles, and he can't learn. Now, it was a great effort to get to this shack, to be there, and he wanted to continue learning, but there was no candle, middle of the night. What's he going to do? And he began to trust in Hashem. And he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm here for you. I want to learn your Torah. I want to grow in my ruchnius. I want to get closer to you. I'm here for you. So if you want me to continue to learn, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, send me a candle. At that time, at that moment, the altar of Kelm opens up the door to the shack, and he walks outside in the middle of the field. And lo and behold, a wagon is passing by. And the wagon stops in front of the altar. And he sees it's a traveling salesman, which was very common in those days, but not in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the fields, in the middle of the night. And the altar says, do you happen to have a candle? He says, yes, of course, right here. And he sells him a candle, and he goes back to his shack, And he lights the candle, and with tremendous simcha and joy, overwhelmed with how Kodesh Baruch Hu took care of him, he sits and he learns, or he stands and he learns the rest of the night. As the candle was getting close to running out, he snuffed out the fire. And he decided he's going to save this candle as a proof of what Bitachon can do for a person. And when he would meet people, he would pull out this piece of the candle, whether if they came to his house, and he said, look, I was in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the night with nothing. And the Rabbi Hashem, because I trusted him, he sent me a candle. He sent it my way. And he would show this candle for years and years to people to let them know how great were his levels of Bitachon. One day a fire broke out in Kelm, and it consumed different homes. And one of the homes that it consumed in its flames was the house of the altar of Kelm. And after the fire was over and his house had burnt to the ground, he lost everything. He said, I know why HaKadosh Baruch Hu did this to me. He said, I think I'm such a Baal Bitachon. I trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu so much. If I trust in Hashem, I don't need to show everybody the proof of my Bitachon and say, here's the candle that Hashem sent to me in the middle of the night, and show off my Bitachon as if I'm pinning my Bitachon on these things. Someone with Bitachon is deep in their heart. It's deep in their lave, and between them and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's good enough. Says the Chazon Ish, if you have real Bitachon, it's between you and Hashem. You don't have to brag, you don't have to flaunt, you don't have to show, you don't have to give drushes and tell everybody. A good ma'isa you have, tell over a story of Bitachon. You want to be mechazik somebody else that's going through a hard time that you went through, be mechazik them. But your Bitachon, the greatest sanctity of it and the real strength is when it's left between you and the Rabbi Shalom that you are trusting in. All the best.